Welcome to another Board Gems side-by-slide comparison. I recently talked about the games Kreta and Sardegna. Let's compare the two. On the left is Kreta from Goldsieber around 2005. There was never an English edition of this. This is, as far as I know, the only printing, just German. On the right, from 2024, is the plate version out of Korea. This is the English edition, which was a co-production with the publisher Crafty. You can immediately see the size difference. Sardegna is very slightly thicker, but makes up for it in all the other dimensions. I don't really have a lot to say about the backs of the boxes. Both show a gameplay state. The German one a little bit more natural. I never know how much to take seriously these sort of game ratings that some publishers have done in the past. It's 8 in tactics and it's 6 in strategy. Okay, if you say so. A lot of wasted space in the Kreta box. Of course, the box has to be big enough to accommodate the board. But yeah, you have a simple little plastic tray to store the cards and the pieces, and otherwise a bit of cardboard just to fill up the box. Despite the tiny Sardegna box, I wouldn't describe it as being packed to the brim. There's still a little bit of empty space, a little bit of wiggle room in there. Despite the tiny box, the board folds out to not be that much smaller than the original. But due to the shape of the board, they weren't able to fit the original Kreta map in there, which is why they set the new game in Sardegna. So a different map. If you're a huge fan of the game, you might want both versions just to have the two different maps to play on. Obviously you can see the difference in color schemes, but also how the victory points are shown. They're Arabic numbers in Sardegna, and they show a number of hexagons in the spaces to indicate the victory points that it's worth for the player who's first place in there. Sardegna features a bit of a puzzle box. Might be worthwhile to show how to put it back. The board comes apart, held together with magnets. If you fold it over, you can place the box right on the Sardegna logo here. And then fold this side over. It has a little lip which you can tuck into the box. And then the other side you flip over and hold together with magnets. The wooden pieces are larger in Kreta, especially the villager. The villagers move around the board, so it doesn't bother me, but I guess I could see people thinking, wow, the villager is so much larger than the village. The village is represented by a house, and the villager wouldn't even fit in that house. So I guess that difference of scale was fixed in Sardegna. I'm a fan of the solid shapes and deeply saturated colors of Kreta. Here's a sort of a gameplay state. The forts originally were cylinders, which I guess people could complain about them rolling off the table. Never had a problem with it, just don't play on a slanted surface, everyone. Pretty easy to avoid. The large pieces in Kreta does mean that the board can get a little bit crowded in places. The smaller pieces, but not that much smaller board, means there's a little bit more open space. I would say the Kreta look is a little bit timeless. This is a look that would have been pretty common in Germany in the 90s, although this game came out in 2005. So even at that point, maybe a little bit out of time. Definitely was trying to go for a particular look, and that look I appreciate. Definitely Sardegna's look is a bit more modern, with the lower saturation of the player colors on the board. Here are the cards players have in their hand. The king becomes a queen, the castellan becomes a sentinel. It is nice that the newer version has a little space for the iconography describing what it does. I find a lot of them are a little bit confusing, but again, these sorts of things are just meant to be reminders. You'll learn the game properly, and then when you're looking at the card, you go, oh yeah, like the little quotation marks shows that you're adding a new piece. It's like the new piece appears, just pops into place. On the top you can see the different player colors. The cards we just saw share the same backs as these, the scoring cards. Kreta's show numbers in 2 places, the new one just 1, and of course you can see that the cards are smaller in Sardegna, but I mean, you don't need large cards for this game. You only shuffle cards once, and that's at the beginning of the game. And finally, these are the agriculture tokens that you can pick up with villagers. A thing to note here is that Kreta's are one-sided, which makes it a little easier to mix them up. You can just put them all face down, mix them up, and then put them down on the board. Sardegna's tokens show the same image on both sides, which makes it a little harder to mix up. You can still do it in a cup or your hand, I suppose, as long as you're not looking. So again, not a big deal. Overall, the Sardegna presentation works pretty well. Thanks for watching. Older games like Kreta continue to be good, and that's why they get remakes like Sardegna. Right? Right. Take care.